Good morning. It is Friday, April 30th, 2021, and the month is over, believe it or not. And I'm back here for Bed Talk 288. And today I'm talking about the power and impact of a name. And it relates to my alma mater, Ohio Northern University. About a month ago, I was talking to someone. They were actually doing a video of me. I played baseball at Ohio Northern, and they wanted a video about my experience. And they were asking about some of my memories. And while I had many memories of being at Ohio Northern and playing baseball, my memory actually was of a time about 21 years after I graduated, now coming up on 18 or 19 years ago. So when I went to Ohio Northern, the baseball coach was a guy named Herb Strayer. He's a legend at Ohio Northern. He was the baseball coach for many decades, became the athletic director, and sadly, he passed away in 2002 at a very young age. And I chose to drive back to college to Ada, Ohio, to attend the viewing on Friday evening. And I walked into the funeral home, saw a lot of players. Clearly, some of them were younger. I did know some people I had played with. And I walked up to the casket, and Herb's wife, Susan, was standing next to the casket. And as I walked up to her and I approached her, she looked me in the eye and said, "Hi, Jeff. How are you?" And I looked at her and said, "Mrs. Strayer, how do you remember me?" Well, of course, she first corrected me and said, "I'm Susan now." And she said, "Of course I remember you." And I thought, but hundreds of players have come through this university. And yes, we were close to the family back then. We knew Herb's wife, we knew his kids. They were around the field a lot. But this is hundreds of players, and she remembered my name. That meant so much to me. And what it told me was basically what had happened when I was at Ohio Northern was about relationships and this sense of family, all because she remembered my name. Because remembering people's name is powerful and it's impactful because it's so much about the person. It's so personal. It is so relational. And my point is not necessarily to remember names, although it's vital, but just the reality of remembering something personal about someone, whether it's their name, where they're from, what they do, where they grew up, something they care about. It matters. It really matters. Are we asking questions about those personal things? Are we making an effort to remember them? And frankly, whether it's an effort or not, do we care enough to remember them? I do some things to try and help me remember names. I'm pretty good at it, but typically when someone tells me their name, I'll ask a question about their name. For example, if someone says, "My name is Susan," I'm going to ask, "Is it Susan? Is it Sue?" If I see someone's name tag, especially something that could be many different things, maybe it says Robert, I'm going to say, "Is it Robert? Is it Bob? Is it Rob?" And generally, people really notice that because I'm taking the time to really understand and know what's important to them. Recently, I was coaching a client around business development and building relationships, and they said they're really not good at names. And I said, "Well, why is it important to remember names?" And they said, "Because it's important part of the business development process." So I said, "For business reasons." I said, "Why don't you try remembering their name because it matters, because it's personal. Do it because you care about them enough to remember." And they nodded at me and said, "That probably will make a difference." So when you interact with people, really listen to them. Ask questions, not just because it's on the form or what you're supposed to ask, but make it matter. Make it personal. Make it relational. You will remember those things far more often than you ever imagined. And when you remember it, it will matter to the person because it will tell them that you cared enough. They mattered enough that you remembered. And that's really what relationships are all about. Treating them as if they matter versus they are an opportunity or a piece of business or a pathway to something. So what's in a name? Everything. That's it for today. Keep taking care of yourself and everyone around you. And by all means, stay connected.